Hello, and just a reminder, Lorehammer is going to be in Edmonton, Canada on the 6th of September. We are going to be at TAP's Game doing a charity event. We're not hosting it, but we have been invited there. We're going to have a little booth. The charity event is for Heads Up Guys for Canadian veterans and suicide prevention, so pretty cool event. Last year they raised like $14,000 or something crazy, so excited to see what they do this year. Once again, we are going to TAP's Game in Edmonton on September 6th, and we're going to have a booth. So we really hope to see you guys there if you're local. I know a couple people have already reached out and said we're coming. So I'm going to be selling off 40K armies for charity and stuff. Some of the, like some Imperial Knights that I have. The Warlord Titan's going to get auctioned off. But we're really excited for the event, and we hope to see you all there. TAP's Games, Edmonton on September 6th.
We're good, and we're live.
Hello, and welcome back to Lorehammer. Holy moly, we're in studio, boys. It's weird. I've been talking alone to myself on the island, now making eye contact with Christian.
Proving that we're real every day.
Yeah, you're still alive. Life check verification. James, life check.
I'm here.
Okay, that's good. And it's been so long. Joining us once again, we got our sweet boy. I let him out of the basement. Jordan.
Finally, the Rock has come back. The Lorehammer.
Yeah, man, we're hyped to have you back. One of the founding members of the old pod.
I even brought my swag. If you're watching the video,
I go to.
He never takes that shirt off. By the way. He's worn it for like.
I've ironed it to his flesh. Yeah,
stitched it.
Yeah. No, that's nice. No, we got a whole crew. We're live in studio. Before we get to the episode, let's just do some quick housekeeping. We're selling dice. We're not sure how, but just message us. We'll put you on a short list, and we will eventually work out who we're going to go with. You know, we're just kind of gathering people and gathering interest on some dice before we place an order. So if you want dice, it'll probably be maybe around $25. But like I said, I haven't done any of the work yet. So I need you guys to reach out, just say you're interested. Give us some shipping address details, and we'll work that out. We're also still doing the Warlords of Terror Discord event. This has been really fun. We've been doing daily Warlord battles of people writing their lore and then battling off. Mine was actually, I won today, so my Techno Samurai passed on, and the guys giving me gruff, like, "Oh, you're cheating." Yeah,
it's my podcast. I wouldn't have started this if I wasn't going to win.
Of course, I'm going to be the commander of this deck. What do you think? So look out, anyone who matches up against my Techno Samurai Warlord. But that's been a lot of fun on Discord, and the end goal is we're making a Magic the Gathering deck. But once again, we got to get some steps in. So that leads me to my next step. If you know how to do merchandise and you have some experience with doing this kind of like YouTube podcasting merchandise stuff that is not just setting up t-shirts, let me know, because I'm in the market for somebody to help me out on that end of things and kind of, I got ideas, but I don't necessarily have the time or the skill set to do it. So reach out if you want to get involved in Lorehammer in that way. Somebody take it away with the live stream. What do we do? What do we do at the live stream here?
Well, we basically every episode we come together, we join hands, and we invite you guys to jump in on the chat. So join the Patreon. You don't need to be high up to be in. Just once you're in, you get to join the live streams, and then maybe we'll even get you in at the end of the episode.
Yeah, the call-ins have been fun. I've been surprised with the quality of questions, really.
No big derailments, and like James said, get in on that Patreon, and then that gives you access to call in. So if you're listening to the podcast, definitely, if you want to interact with us, you can do it that way.
Yeah, Patreon's huge, man. If you want to support the show, throw us $1. We have a bunch of listeners, and if everyone threw us $1, man, we'd go to daily Lorehammer episodes. We got the numbers for it. We just don't have the dollars. So throw us $1, and it will go a long way in growing the show.
Help me quit my day job.
No, that's the goal. Seriously, man. We have the audience. If everyone gave us $1 a month, we would all be walking away wealthy men. That's the serious business of it. Even Jordan would maybe get a paycheck.
maybe.
And I haven't even been feeding this poor guy.
If I can make the Panama minimum wage, I'd be happy.
Oh,
$2 American a month.
exactly. It's not
Yeah.
much. We don't ask for much out on the island. Yeah, this is fun, man. Let's talk Dark Eldar. We haven't talked Dark Eldar in a long time. I don't even know what the last topic was.
I get the sense that Dark Eldar kind of snubbed a lot in lore.
By
And-
us and
yeah.
by Games Workshop.
No,
And by themselves, they're snubbing each other all the
I
time.
love snubbing each other off.
No, like in Warhammer in general, like all the comments I've heard about Dark Eldar is no one really cares that much for it.
Yeah.
That's what we're canceling this episode right now. We're done.
Yeah, and even like
But
the
maybe
model line and stuff, it's never the newest one. It's never really up to date. Yeah.
But maybe we need to throw them some love in this episode.
Or at least do so bad of an episode that we torture
No.
your souls and the Dark Eldar can feed on it. At
Yeah.
least maybe that. So I think I'll take it away in the reading. I got a feedback on my last episode, the Octarius War. Apparently it felt like a lecture. So I've been kind of like, okay, how do we not make it feel like a lecture? So here we go.
In the year 34.
Very close, my friend. In the lightless abyss of Cormora, the city of terror in the heart of the webway, where shadows feed on despair and cruelty, is a currency. One figure reigns supreme, the master of malevolence, Asdrubael Vect. He is not merely the lord of the Kabal of the Black Heart. He is the architect of agony, the undisputed tyrant of Cormora, and by extension, the Dark Eldar race itself. His word is law, his gaze is death. There are whispers, murmurs, shared in terrified tones that Vect, behind the cataclysmic fall of the Eldar with his own, beheld the cataclysmic fall with his own eyes. If such tales hold truth, then he is older than even the most ancient among us. Over 10,000 years of unrelenting cruelty and cunning, to endure such eons in the venomous heart of the Dark City, to raise from nothing to become the iron-fisted ruler, speaks of lethal intellect beyond mortal comprehension. Vect is no mere king, he is a god of shadows, a predator in the world of predators, and a dark heart of a dying race that feeds on the suffering to sustain its cursed existence.
Okay, bets right now on how long it'll take for that to stop happening.
Very
It's already stopped.
It's
It's
already
already
over. So I don't know if that was better than the Wikipedia style entry performance I gave last time, but there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, I was reading through this, and there's not a whole lot on him, but the couple things that we do know on him, they're always like so twisted and convoluted, and he always seems to come out on top at the end.
Yeah, also, as Jordan mentioned, like, he is the main character of the Dark Eldar race. And again, like, he doesn't have that much written on him, like, compared to, say, like, the Ultramarines. Or
Yeah.
so, like, even in the lore, you can see where they're, like, kind of an afterthought, the entirety of the Dark Eldar. But what is there is cool. And we'll break it down here.
Nice.
Alright.
From humble beginnings, born in the depths of misery as a mere slave in the shadowed alleys of Camorra. I'm going to mispronounce this, so just get used to it. Asdrubael Vect. I'm just going to call him Vect from now on. Destined for more than chains and torment. From the very beginning, he saw the rot in the heart of the Dark City, and he knew how to exploit it. Through a symphony of deception, a symphony. That's like orchestrated, like he has a whole bunch of crescendo. Pizzicato. Oh, so beautiful.
So good.
Betrayal and cold-blooded cunning, Vect carved a path of blood and terror through the endless night. Rising from nothing to become a name whispered in fear, it was Vect who founded the Cabal of the Black Heart, a power that would one day eclipse all others. The highborn nobility, fattened on an arrogance so disgusting and so thick. Their ancient privilege.
Invading.
Yeah, okay, so I got a Trojan accent, and you're like doing this.
I'm doing something. They never saw a threat in their midst until it was way too late. By the time they realized this lowborn upstart was more than a passing nuisance, their fate was sealed. Vect's rise was unstoppable, and with ruthless precision, he crushed those who dared to oppose him. The fractured cell realms of Gamora, once warring and divided, were brought to heel under his iron will. Vect's ambition did not end with the Dark City. When he captured the Salamander's strike cruiser, Forgehammer, he lured the Imperium into Gamora itself. The Imperial invasion that followed tore through the city like a cleansing fire, slaying the lords of Gamora who had stood in Vect's way. Yet, as the ashes settled, it was Vect who stood victorious, his rival's blood still fresh upon his hands. With the old order shattered, Vect emerged as the undisputed ruler of Gamora, the dark heart of a civilization that thrives on death and despair.
It's cool how he baits the Imperium to do his dirty work and knock out his competitors.
Yeah, there's a couple of times that's pretty much his whole game. It's like either he's using Dark Eldar to do his dirty work, the Imperium, sometimes demons. There's times to cut off entire sections of Cormorant and just let demons invade it, and like,
whoops.
So you're saying that Cariot's war strategy can work.
It can and does, yes.
You
If you're
just have
willing
be
to
an
make the
Eldar.
sacrifice,
You just need that sweet plot armor. I didn't realize.
Talking about plot armor, his
Segue.
personal panoply of war. When the Supreme Overlord Asdrubael Vect takes to the battlefield, he does so aboard his formidable Dais of Destruction. This modified Ravager is a fearsome testament to his power and vanity, featuring a unique force field that shields its riders from harm. The Dais is a masterwork of Dark Eldar engineering, boasting 2 heavy weapon platforms flanking a raised central dais. This elevated platform supports Vect's throne, where he presides over the carnage, accompanied by his personal slaves and protected by his elite incubi bodyguards. The dais is not only a symbol of Vect's dominance, but also a deadly weapon in its own right, capable of unleashing devastating firepower upon its enemies. The model is kind of funny. It's an older model.
I was going to ask, does he have one?
Well, it's long been since discontinued, but
I do have a bunch of artwork pulled up. I just sent you a link.
Nice.
But yeah, it's so funny. He's got like naked, sexy chicks on there, all fawning
and
and
like
stuff. Back in the day, when we
surprisingly,
had,
it was like they were actually fully unclothed,
fully titted.
Yes,
This is a dad hammer. We can
fully
say
bosomed.
fully bosomed. Yeah. I can only imagine. I have yet to paint a female naked like that, but like how much effort you put into the mix. I just think about it all the time. One of those naked minis. How many hours did you do drawing that?
Have you done a naked male yet?
Yes.
Of course.
It's you. You just don't know.
Oh, got a miniature of you, Jordan. And
Yeah. Yeah, no, his mini's super cool. It's just full of all types of weirdness, and you can imagine that on the rails there's all types of narcotics and stuff that they're spitting.
the little gang rails on the rails.
Yeah, exactly.
It is an older model, though. Unfortunately, they've never really refreshed it since probably 3rd edition.
Yeah.
It has that 3rd edition vibe. I don't know if that's where it actually is, but that's the way it looks.
Yeah, she's old.
It looks cool, though.
Yeah.
It's very Dune.
Or like Star Wars, like those sand skids.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not Dune. Mad Max almost.
Yeah,
I
like
get that vibe.
lots of riders and motorbike type of things,
Yeah.
and like
A little, almost maybe steampunkish kind of.
What other notes do you taste in there?
Tastes hints of both. It has great legs.
Earthy tones.
Excellent.
When Vect is forced to fight on foot, he's enveloped in a shadow field, a sophisticated form of a protective technology that is unique to Dark Eldar vessels. Unlike the void shields of the Imperium or the energy fields used by the Eldar, shadow fields generate a distortion fog around the user, obscuring their presence and movements from all but the keenest eyes. This personal shield allows Vect to move through the battlefield with an almost ghostly invulnerability, enhancing his already formidable survivability. +2 saves.
Yeah, those things are super cool, those shadow fields. They have a bunch of different, like, super wild Eldar energy fields. Some are like, you know, the more force you push into them, the more kinetic energy they
like
put,
push back.
the more they push back on you. Yeah. But this one, yeah, it's definitely not, it's like a stealth one. It turns you invisible kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, it's mostly ship mounted, so he has that mounted on himself.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
In close combat, Vect wields the Scepter of the Dark City, an ornate and deadly weapon imbued with advanced pain inducers. That way, when he slices you, it really hurts.
Yeah.
As opposed to just
Yeah.
a little hurt.
Yeah. You know, you got to slice and you got to slice them very painfully.
Well, that's how he gets what he wants, right? Like his battle is feeding Slanesh.
Drinking the souls like a fine wine.
Yes, everything is very like sophisticated with this guy. You know?
Yeah, they're a bunch of sophisticants, if you ask me.
The scepter is not merely a symbol of his office, but a brutal tool of war, designed to inflict suffering and terror upon his foes. Each strike from the scepter is a testament to Vect's mastery of the arts of torture and combat. I was going to say art of fortune. That would be silly.
Read the notes, you idiot.
Read it as it's written.
It's perfect. It's flawless.
It is.
It can't be changed.
Did you know Christian wrote these?
He wrote them and he still gets them wrong.
I'm reciting from memory, okay? To further ensure this security and maintain his aura of invincibility, Vect employs the Geldling, a mysterious doppelganger that serves as his substitute on occasion. This clone or decoy is used to mislead allies and enemies alike, further enhancing Vect's reputation for being untouchable. Among the relics of the Kabal of the Black Heart, the Writ of the Living Muse stands out. This iron tablet bears the inscriptions of Vect's commands, and, when intoned, it invigorates all those who owe fealty to him. The writ serves not only as a potent symbol of Vect's rule, but also as a source of dark empowerment, ensuring that his followers remain unyielding and energized in their service to their master.
The gelding is such an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Like gelding, that's like neutering a horse or something, isn't it? Or like what is gelding actually? Because I asked this. No. I'm pretty sure like
There might be the Panama thing here.
Well, basically, gelding. I'm pretty sure
It's a castrated male horse.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You know, Dark Eldar will often cut their finger off, and then that way, when their body gets disintegrated, the homunculi will have their finger, and then will regrow their body from that finger.
He cut his body off.
Or did they cut his dick off his body? And it's just a bodiless dick now. I don't know. It's a weird term, weird choice of word, and I wonder how that technology works. Like, obviously, they didn't cut his wiener off, but like definitely maybe a pinky, and like regrew it on a person, and like that way you can pass like genetic walls, genetic barriers, and stuff.
Or
like,
maybe it's like a reference to it being impotent. That could
Yeah,
be
like
it
he's like a castrated double.
it could be that too, but
That's how I interpret it. But you're right. Like, there's not a lot of detail on what the Geldling actually is. It's like, is it a clone? Is it like a mirage? Is it even real?
yeah.
But it's essentially like a body double, whatever that looks like. Is it another Dark Eldar assuming his role that takes the bullet for him? Like Secret Service.
It's back to like peels his own face off and gives it to somebody else to wear his
Have you-
face, and then he regrows his own face through homunculi means, and then
There's an old
it's not good.
Dark Eldar model of a lord. I can't remember exactly, but he has like a face attached to his helmet, but it's like stretched out, so it's like obviously not his face.
Yeah, very like Fabius Bile.
Yeah, exactly. But,
Trench coat
yeah,
style.
just like so that's exactly where my mind went. So yes, it's entirely possible that he just rips it off and hands it over.
Okay, bitter rivals. In the twilight of years of M41, Asdrubael Vect's iron grip on Komorrah was tested as never before. El Uriak, is that how you say it?
Yeah, you asked me, and yep, that's it.
The long dead tyrant of Shaddam was wrenched from the abyss by a coalition of Vect's most bitter enemies, Zelion Kralak and the treacherous Lithium.
Just say the name as written.
Names, a bunch of sinister sounding names.
United in their hatred, they sought to overthrow the master of the Black Heart, to shatter the throne he had carved from the birth
Very Dark Eldar.
of countless rivals. For the first time in millennia, Vect's supremacy was under siege, and the city trembled with the prospect of rebellion. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's his rival.
Of
We
course.
named two, but it's like Kor'vattra is his rival.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
if,
that's
if
the way
you're
he set it
the
up.
if you're the tyrant of Komorrah, like you're gonna make a lot of rivals, are you not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a Dark Eldar who is not another like? Is there any Dark Eldar who are not just rivals? Like, aren't they all just?
They're
rivals
also
of each-
lovers.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. But they're all rivals, right? Like, there's no like.
Yeah, I would say like unless
You
you're
don't
like
have friends.
directly like bloodline to somebody, but then it's almost like, well, now they're gonna kill me and take my bloodline. Like,
Yeah.
you can't trust nobody.
Yeah,
Not even your own kids.
No, not even your own kids. And let that be a lesson, mom and dad. One for that.
Warhammer podcast does not condone violence in any form.
Where you used to bring your parents' throne.
Hey, Lorehammer legal. Now that I'm back in Canada.
Warhammer
Mark, do you
legal.
have some unworked trauma?
This would be the episode to work it out.
A guy just doesn't flee a country and move to an island with his wife alone. You know, he doesn't have a little bit going on. It's up in his head, so it's mentally, little trauma, whatever. Some of these names were interesting, like Shaddam. I'd never heard of Shaddam, and even after we just had done that Webway episode,
Saddam Hussein, you've never heard of it?
Well, maybe I just need to listen to what's happening.
There's
Yeah.
this whole war that it all started in 2001.
We never heard of like in the Webway, like we didn't talk about this, but maybe it's just so much a part of Kor'vattra that it's not really the separate city. But I kind of heard it and was reading more about it. It really described it like it's a massive place in and of itself. It's not just like this small little part. It's a whole.
I think it was like its own city that grew into it, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing with like metro, you call them when it's like multiple cities growing.
Metropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Metroplex.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, there's Toronto and then there's like all the suburbs that have evolved to be, everyone just calls it the GTA.
Greater Gamora area.
Yeah. Greater Gamora.
The GG.
Yeah. And then there's obviously the naming thing about Kor'vattra and Shaddam are obviously Sodom and Gomorrah.
and then there's that.
And that was intentional,
Yeah.
obviously, by the writers.
Yeah.
Subtlety.
So what is so where does Saddam come in then?
No, I was kidding. It has nothing to do with that. Although he was very
jokes.
torturous and
Oh.
sadistic. So
Well, you know, he died with a sword shoved up his butt, so we can all
Wrong
speak
dick.
No,
peacefully.
that's the wrong era.
They all sound the same to me. Man.
Warhammer legal.
Once again.
not known accident.
I heard Saddam really liked the curves.
Man, if we got demonetized over there, you couldn't even say anything.
It's already happened.
It's done.
We just got
It's already
demonetized
over.
already.
Vect, ever watchful and rude. I'm just gonna save you guys here. Saw that threat rising from Shaddam. His response was swift and devastating. He seized a human starship, a pathetic relic of lesser races, and sent it hurtling through the Webway portal into the heart of Shaddam. The initial impact was all but final, reducing much of the city to twisted wreckage. But Vect's true vengeance was yet to unfold. As the dying city reeled from the blast, the ship's warp drives detonated, tearing a rift between the material realm and the hellscape of the warp. Sounds like a fun time.
That's such a cool weapon.
I do the Dark Eldar is such an interesting part of 40K because like obviously they design every race to be an army that can fight on the tabletop, but the Dark Eldar are such a different vibe than like everything else because like sure Imperium might fight Imperium, that happens, sure Eldar might fight Eldar, whatever, but like the Dark Eldar are like not a unified force and they don't really care if they survive. It's just I just care if I survive. Even if all Dark Eldar are wiped out tomorrow, they don't care. It's such a different vibe. Like yeah, he's just willing to blow up half of all of the Dark Eldar for fun.
And they have crazy technologies like this where they can move starships or they can harness suns. And then like they have suns in Komorra, so just blow up one of those suns and then who cares about the species as a whole? Like I'm here.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
It's very different than like every other group. Because even Chaos, like they like have goals almost, and they're like
And they serve something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
Which is like their gods or whatever, right? But like these guys are really just self-interested.
Yeah, they're like hyper individualists, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like after the fall, they're already all like hyper crazy, you know, during the fall of Eldar, they're all doing all their stuff. And then in order to survive that, like, yeah, just makes these survival people where all they care about now is just survival. That's all. Yeah.
Daemons flooded Shaddam, a tide of madness and horror that consumed everything in its path. The once proud city, now a nightmare of fire and shadow, was lost to the Dark Eldar forever. On Vect's orders, Shaddam was sealed away, cut off from the rest of Komorra, its twisted towers and tortured souls left to be consumed in the warp's embrace. El Uriak's dream of conquest died in the maelstrom, reduced to ashes by the one he sought to dethrone. For Vect, it was not enough to kill a rival. He ensured that Shaddam itself became a monument to his unmatched cruelty, a dark warning to any who dare to challenge the master of the Black Heart.
Yeah, way to set an example.
I'm going to nuke you, and I'm going to nuke your family, I'm going to nuke your city.
Very medieval.
Yeah, again, it's just there's such a unique group. Like, it's all tied together with a sort of like tyranny that rivals every other group.
Yeah.
Because like there's almost like a sense of like what do you call it when someone deserves their position, whatever.
Meritocracy.
That's the one. Yeah, like almost every other group has that at some level, but this is just like whatever you can kill.
Yeah, well, there's a merit in being the best at being bad.
But it's not like you're good at,
underhanded.
like, you're not valued to your group.
Yeah,
And
you're not
that's
doing
why
it for
you're
the benefit of
That's
your
what I
people.
mean, though. Like, it's like every other group, it's like the person who's like, even if you have an exalted legionnaire in a chaos group, it's because he's pretty tough. He's hard to kill, and he runs your whole thing, and he's the one who's effective at managing your legion or your renegade band or whatever it is. But like with the Dark Eldar, it's not that. You're not up there because you're good at anything.
You're good at killing your
and
rival.
You're not good at anything for the group. is
Yeah,
what I'm
like,
saying.
but there is like a survival utility for most species to have like some sort of like there's some sort of social component, right, that helps you survive in the wild. But yeah, you're right. This is sort of an anomaly where they sort of reject that premise, and they feel like they only want to survive as the single power.
Okay, so hear me out. Or say your piece.
Well, like they have like the highborn and lowborn too. So even in that, there's like this status battle where the highborn are obviously think they're better, but the lowborn, they've struggled, so they think they're better, and it creates that imbalance too, where like even in the same squad of Drakari soldiers on a Ravager, you might have a highborn and a lowborn, and that lowborn is just waiting for the perfect moment to push that
backstab.
highborn off the Ravager. Adios, highborn. So
No,
even
I'm
within
in
that, they create a bunch of different little power structures. And then the other very unique thing about the Dark Eldar is since they can all pretty much regrow their souls if they have enough money and wealth and prestige, you might kill your friend one day and it might just be a lesson. And the next day he's alive again. And you're like, did you learn your lesson? And he's like, I did. So it's like this whole nother, like, yeah, you can kill half your race and then just regrow them and kill them again if you have to.
Yeah. Or the reverse.
Or
And
the
like you get
reverse.
betrayed, and then you show up again and kill the guy that betrayed you.
Yeah.
Ultimate Uno reverse card. I was gonna say, all this is sounding like a group of people. Picture with me, if you will.
Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
We're about to get demonetized hard.
Yeah, okay.
A group of people that is completely self-interested and sacrifices the good of everyone else for their own goals. And they all live in Washington. Or
Oh,
Ottawa.
a politician.
Politician.
Goddamn politician.
You're right.
Yes.
It's all coming in.
Lorehammer legal. I'm not going to like this, but
Got your work cut out for
Whatever.
you this month.
That's
I love-
okay. We have
I-
to just pay them a lot.
For
of
the
money.
record, I love Hillary Clinton. She's amazing. I will never say anything bad about her.
me wish I want to be on hers as a Christmas card list. No other lists, please. Age of Plenty. In the shadowed expanse of the late M41, the Dark Eldar revel in a period of unprecedented access known as the Age of Plenty. This era, heralded by Asdrubael Vect's declaration in 994 M41, saw Kor'vattra launch a relentless wave. I find I read better in accents most of the time, to be honest. I've done a lot of reading on listenable, and that's always better for me, but that commanded his subjects to strike at the lesser races where they were the weakest and most dispersed. The Dark Eldar's hunger for torment and carnage seemed insatiable as they fed on the turmoil of the universe. Yet, as the Dark City thrived, so did the seeds of insatiability take root. The Age of Plenty was marred by the increased strife within Kor'vattra itself, particularly the ominous breach at Cain's Gate, the harbinger of the chaos to come. In 998 and 41, amidst the frenetic plundering and rampaging of the real space, Urin Rakic, the ancient homunculus, perceives an unsettling similarity between the current carnage and the cataclysmic events that led to the fall of the Eldar. Despite his ancient nature, Rakar's memories of the apocalyptic time were vivid enough to incite a preemptive response. Driven by a relentless quest for depravity, Rakar's paranoia compels him to stockpile resources. His raids become more ambitious, seizing vast quantities of slaves and dragging them back to the depths of his oubliettes, which are little things. Oubliettes, where you little holes where you throw bodies and you forget them.
I prefer oubliettes.
Oubliettes.
It sounds cute.
Oubliette.
You want to see my oubliette?
That's not Spanish coming from
Yeah, hola.
French.
To secure his dark future, Rakarth allies powerful covens, the Black Descent, the Coven of the 12, and the Prophets of the Flesh, each carving out new sub-realms within the webway. These realms becoming grotesque vaults filled with stasis pods, each containing living beings destined to serve as raw material for Rakarth's vile experiments. I kind of just watched the Matrix the other day and just saw scenes of the pods and the tubes of the people and like very kind of similar. This guy just has a bunch of stasis pods of people that he can eventually just suck their souls.
Yeah, it's cool too because he's like kind of preparing. He's a prepper.
He's a
doomsday prepper.
That's so funny.
Because he's like seeing everything happen again. He's like, okay, we're getting like really into debauchery again. We've seen this all before. I'm just gonna carve out this little like hideaway and keep doing what I want to do.
I think
like,
I've watched that
time.
TV show.
Dark Eldar preppers.
Dark Eldar preppers.
This is my slave bin. Just, like, preserved.
Is there a risk though? Is he like worried that they might create another Chaos God?
Who knows? I mean, if you've seen it the first time, why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
or
like-
even just like break the seals on Komorra and let Slaanesh in would be a big concern. Like,
Yeah, because maybe since it's excess, they can't create another God of excess.
Try me.
Presumably.
Try me.
So maybe that would just like it's just empowering Slaanesh.
Yeah,
instead.
and maybe Slaanesh will just break in.
Yeah.
He sees something is up. Like I said, he's seen this all happen before. He's being smart about it. He's like, okay, let's have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And you should too.
Where will you be when Slaanesh comes?
Panama.
Slaanesh 2024.
Some people just want to watch the world war. Jordan, this is why you're locked in the post. You vote in Slaaneshi armies. In 924-999 M41, a cataclysmic storm roils through the warp, shaking the very foundations of the labyrinth dimension. The storm causes arterial passageways to convulse uncontrollably, ripping apart weaker offshoots. Kane's Gate, bound by arcane chains, glows a searing white as one of its mighty chains snaps with a thunderous crack. At that precise moment, every portal within Kor'vattra flickers, plunging countless souls into limbo and tearing them asunder during transit. The Dark City erupts into chaos with increasing demand over Overlord Vect to quell the growing threat of the full-blown disjunction. Vect, suspecting the hand of Lady Malaise, behind his turmoil, struggles to gather evidence. His efforts are thwarted by the mysterious Harlequin troops that appear from nowhere to either assassinate his agents or abduct his informants. That's a cool scene of that massive gate with chains and like, you know, you picture the Eldar runes like circling around the chains and like very. I don't often picture 40K as like high fantasy magical, you know, but this is definitely a very magical scene.
Yeah.
Really? I've always kind of thought about it.
With the warp, yes, it's magical, but it's a very different thing in my mind.
Is.
Like it's not like this bright glowing thing where you're summoning things like controllably.
That's exactly what the warp is.
It is, but it's like
It
I've
does
always
have a
thought of it
different
as
vibe.
like more of a dark fantasy, I guess. But,
yeah.
I hear what you're saying. It is different.
Yeah, with just like the runes and stuff, like you don't get a lot of those kind of magical type things or sigils. Maybe you do. I guess they're everywhere, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just drunk. Hard to say.
Come here, let me smell your breath.
978-999 M41. The raid on Baka unfolds. As Vect's machinations begin to surface, Lady Malaise, ever the schemer, fears Vect intends to deliberately trigger Kane's Gate and unleash a tide of demons upon his rival. In a desperate move, she activates her axis across Kor'vattra, unleashing waves of empiric energy from the Eye of Terror to assault the Dark City. The ensuing collapse of Chaos realms and breaches in portals, leading to bitter clashes between Kabalites, witches, and harlequins, loyal to either Malays or Vect. The irony is stark. Both factions unknowingly vie to achieve the same catastrophic end. Meanwhile, within the chamber, the swirling madness, hairline cracks spread across Kane's Gate, a portent of the coming destruction. In 999 M41, the prophetic emergence of Yvraine, Herald of Yanid, brings the Age of Plenty into a catastrophic end. Her birth within Komorra ruptures Kane's Gate, flooding it with a torrent of demons. The Dark City, already teetering on the brink of chaos, is engulfed in a maelstrom of destruction and despair, marking a conclusion of a dark, glorious era and heralding in the age of greater turmoil.
They did create another god, James.
They did, I guess. Yeah,
No,
they did.
it wasn't.
Kinda.
Was it their fault?
Not the Dark Eldar. No.
Yeah.
No. It was.
But I'm just.
Yeah.
There's always a new god you can create.
There's always more.
I
There's
just
always
hope
another
they
god.
make a good one, like the God of Ice Cream or something. Why did we get the
Why do
bones?
we keep getting these weird evil gods?
But Vect has been around for 10,000 years, and his story is basically him just vying for control over Kor'vattra. Somebody rises up, he masterfully destroys them in half the city and rebuilds it, and does it again for 10,000 years over and over, masterfully.
Do you think the attitude of the Dark Eldar is like Komorra is really the only thing they care about, and like they just raid to get stuff, and Komorra's like, if the entire universe went away and all Gomorrah was left, would they, or like, do they even pay attention to things that happen?
Yeah, like
the
that's
rest
a
of the
great question.
universe?
Like if the rest of the universe went away, what would happen to the Dark Eldar? Like they could still feed on each other's souls. They could still do a bunch of stuff.
If anything, you would it'd become like a hyper feedback loop of them like just consuming themselves.
Yeah,
Because
like
they have to,
a society
project
like that
outward.
wouldn't be able to last. Like,
No, but like they might find some kind of equilibrium, maybe. Who
Well, I
knows?
don't even mean that. What I more mean is like, do they care? Like, oh, Gilman showed up. Do they care?
Probably not.
Oh, did
Or they see that as a prize that they can maybe go after.
or like the Indominus Crusade happened. Do they care?
no,
Probably not.
They're just like all wrapped up in their own little
completely
teams and-
opportunistic. Yeah,
yeah.
show up, grab their slaves, go back to where they came
And
from.
like, while you're not safe in the Dark City, they are safe in the Dark City. You know,
stay from external.
yeah, like they intentionally brought some salamanders and a strike cruiser in there, and it was like a trap.
One time.
And like that's the craziest thing that happens to a minus demon invasion, but it's relatively safe there. So yeah, the rest of the galaxy can burn, and they would
Maybe
just kind
carry
of.
on.
I think they would just carry on.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing too is there's a lot of other species in the Dark City. It's not just Dark Eldar.
Sure.
They're the dominant faction, but there are tons of other minor races.
Well, yeah. So they're the dominant, but I don't know if they would be the most numerous. Like I bet there's more humans in Kor'vattra than there are Dark Eldar.
It's
There's a
never.
lot
I
of-
doubt it's ever said anywhere. You
I
can
agree
probably
with that.
fanfic read it in, like, oh, you think that, and I think this, and we
Well, if
neither
it's
of us have
slaves,
Like all I know, like most people have multiple slaves. If you could,
proof. You know, from
from
experience.
history and Panama. Warhammer.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like if you're constantly draining them, but the
Yeah.
slaves in Kor'vattra seem more like an expendable resource.
Yeah, they're curds.
Yeah, it's not. It's like they're burning through them more
Yeah.
so than like they're a constantly growing resource. And that's how I picture it.
But like now,
Again,
picture
I don't have
this,
any
though, like the Dark City. This does happen. It gets cut off from the rest of the galaxy, or they just don't go there. Then the homunculates all of a sudden start growing all these humans, all these other alien races that they just have like that. They
Infinite.
become like the farmers, essentially. These homunculi, where they just
farming
Well,
people.
farming people. Exactly. It's a good time in Kor'vattra.
Mark, you should take over Cormoran.
I wish.
They
not
kicked
my
me out,
calling.
but then Vect would just kill him. And
Yeah.
it'd be over.
Not my calling.
Oh my god.
Like, it's not in the cards.
Not the cards.
All right, the coming storm. Worse was yet to come. In the closing days of the millennium, a cataclysm was unleashed that shook even the dark foundations of Komorra. The birth of Yanid and the coming of Yvraine, a harbinger of doom, tore the fabric of reality itself, birthing a massive disjunction that threatened to unravel the Dark City. Faced with annihilation, Vect was forced to retreat to the farthest edges of his domain, abandoning the twisted heart of his empire to chaos and destruction. Now, with the Dark City on the brink of collapse, Vect clings to power by a thread. His remaining Kabals, bound to him by fear and desperation from a fragile alliance, one born of necessity, not loyalty, as all
Dark
their
Eldar.
alliances are. Yeah. Yeah, like when are they not bound by that? In the shadows, Vect hunts for your brain, not to destroy her, but to harness her power for his own sinister purposes. The master of Gomorrah is no stranger to desperation, but his time, even he is uncertain if he can hold the darkness at bay. As our background collapses. This is a metaphor for
Komorrah.
Yeah. That was staged.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
It was staged.
Oh no.
We have people.
I don't think where this is
I don't
going.
like your basement's about to get filled with a demon.
The Oompa Loompas did that. My Oompa Loompas did that.
Yeah. It's cool too because it puts Cormorant now, like you guys were saying, they're almost like this relative safe space for Dark Eldar, but now they're almost in a place like the Imperium where they are also under threat, and their lead character is now the one at risk of tumbling off into the abyss.
Yeah.
So
The Great Disjunction. A disjunction is a cataclysm within the webway, a rift where the veils between reality and the warp unravel, allowing the madness of demons to spill into the dark streets of Komorrah. These events are often sparked by the Dark Eldar or the twisted creatures that dwell in the shadows of the Dark City. The warp touch horrors that pour forth wreak havoc as they claw their way into the heart of Eldar's hallowed halls, slaughtering everything in their path. So, who knows what even creepy things are just in there, just crawling around.
well, yeah, I think one thing too about the warp and demons is we always classify them under the 4, but there are tons of other warp entities, creatures, and also even within Cormorant, and I think we touch on this in the Cormorant episode, mandrakes are warp touched, not totally sure what they are.
Yeah.
At least I can't remember.
No, they're more like pocket dimension jumpers.
They're not warp entities at all.
I don't believe they are, man. I think they're more pocket dimension.
But there are other creatures.
Yeah,
that
they live in this shadow realm. They don't live in the warp. They live in a realm of shadows, and
of course they would.
yeah.
Sounds edgy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Shadow Realm.
Oh. Vect, the supreme overlord of Komorrah, has shrouded the city in wards of immense power, but even his defenses can only stave off the inevitable for so long. These disjunctions are times of blood-soaked opportunity, where treachery flourishes as Archon sees the chance to dispose of rivals under the guise of chaos. The feeble wards crack and falter, leaving even the most fortified strongholds vulnerable to both demonic invasion and carefully timed betrayals. One such disjunction arose when the resurrection of
I'll try that again.
El Uriak?
So Jordan was saying it.
Yeah, that's
All right.
Uriak or something.
El Uriak.
We never heard of the Warren
Why do you
Uriak.
have to say it like that?
El Uriak.
Oh, sorry. El
It
Uriak.
sounds like you're eating a banana too eagerly.
An ancient and relentless foe of Vect, whose return threatened the delicate balance of power. But it was the birth of Yvraine at the end of M41 that truly shook Gomorrah to its core. Her awakening ruptured Cain's Gate, letting loose a tide of demons that now gnaw at the edges of the city's existence, leaving only darkness and despair in their wake. So yeah, that's quite the event in the history of. It seems like that's the most radical thing that happens.
It's their doomsday clock ticking. Again, it's just like the Imperium, right? Will the Golden Throne fail? Will it? Won't it? Kind of thing. This is their version of that, ticking to the final.
Yeah.
Will the demons destroy all of it? Will Vect survive this? Will another warlord take over?
With your brain and you need to, it's very interesting. It's just another way that Eldar don't necessarily die. And how does that affect Cormorrah when now really no Eldar are dying? You don't even have to wait for them to regrow them now. And now you have a faction that can kind of
insta-res.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely hate.
Yeah, I've been hit and miss where you could, but I think mostly, anytime you defeat death, it's usually not a good thing for a story.
Oh.
It removes consequences, and then nothing really matters, especially in a setting built around death. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Don't say.
a lot of people harp on the fact that lots of characters have plot armor, and yes, obviously that's the case. But a lot of characters do die in this setting, more than most. Maybe Game of Thrones has it a little bit more, but a lot of characters do.
I've cried many times growing up over the years. No, Gabriel Loken. Oh, he's back. No, he's gone again. Put him back. He's back.
You can't choose. You can't nitpick the plot armor people, but there's plenty of stories that just where people get blown away.
Yeah. Well, in this case, you have a whole faction that now you remove the consequence of death, let alone a character, right?
Yeah.
The stakes couldn't be lower. It's also why I hate the freaking Stormcasts here.
Yeah.
And I know a piece of their soul goes away every time they res, but still.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
But don't you like all
What does that
the
mean?
strong black women in the Stormcast swinging hammers,
Yeah,
doing damage?
I loved it.
Yeah, aren't you all about? I think they have a very diverse cast of Stormcast, and I love that. Personally. Big fan. They can die as many times and come back for all I care. I want to keep watching them die.
Speaking of which, we haven't plugged James Complaints at gmail.com.
Yes, no, we have not. Yeah, so jamescomplaints@gmail.com. I'll clear the inbox out so we can have it fresh again. I know it fills up quick.
All right. Changing gears here, Dark Eldar Cabals. In the twisted spires of the shadow depths of Kor'vattra, the Cabals rule with an iron grip. Their power is fractured as it is absolute. Each Cabal is a ruthless, self-governing entity, a socio-economic war machine fueled by ambition, bloodshed, and betrayal. Washington. Told you. These merciless factions are the lifeblood of Dark Eldar society, intertwined with the sinister homunculi covens, the deadly incubus sects, and the savage witch cults. Together they form the spine of a civilization that thrives on suffering, thriving in the eternal darkness of their corrupted existence. From the labyrinthine webway, portals, Kabalite raiding parties emerge like phantoms, descending upon the unsuspecting to claim what their dark masters desire. Alien beasts, wretched slaves, and whatever else their twisted appetites demand. The smallest cabals are scattered, their territories mere patches of shadow across Kor'vattra, with only hundreds of warriors under the command. But the largest, the most fearsome, are vast armies numbering in the millions, wielding untold power from the hidden fortresses deep within the Dark City. At the head of each cabal stands an archon, a figure of boundless malice and cunning. These lords of terror are bound by no law save the savage code of the eye for an eye, the only guiding principle in a world where treachery is both art and weapon. Alliances among cabals are the fleeting as they are treacherous, born of convenience and shattered by betrayal. Cooperation and war dance hand in hand, as likely to achieve a common goal as they are to ignite a conflict without reason or warning. In this realm of darkness, the cabals reign supreme, their thirst for power and blood never sated, their cruelty unmatched. It's kind of cool, like how it's like rival gangs, right? Like, and they could be like small ones, like your cabal can only be like a small war band of a few hundred. They care about a neighborhood in Kor'vattra.
Sure.
And they're allied with maybe like a bigger cabal, right? It's like for your advantage, you like join them in a raiding party and you get stuff out of it.
Yeah.
But the minute like their rivals approach you and like, hey, we can get you more stuff, you just gotta push their overlord over the rails of their raider on your next expedition, right? Like,
easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's always constantly this like Game of Thronesy like power plays between groups and factions and characters.
So if you're a Dark Elder ganger, what are you trying to smuggle? Are you trying to smuggle drugs, weapons, slaves? What are you into? What's your
vice?
What's your vice, my man?
Definitely weapons.
Definitely weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you're smuggling all types of star cannons and stuff into Kor'vattra.
The most illegal things. Nova
What would-
bombs. And
What would be illegal in Kimura?
that's the joke.
boxes with demons in them.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
there's
strictly banned.
there is actually one thing illegal in Kor'vattra, and it's like psychic powers.
Yeah.
You're not allowed psychers in there. And
Otherwise, you end up with a disjunction. Like that.
yeah, look what happened when they let your brain in. Look what happened when they let a woman in. She went crazy with her psychic powers, wrecked Kor'vattra. Vect's been ruling for 10,000 years, no problem. The demons come, the demons go. Up next, somebody else other than me.
James complains.
As a supposed founder of Kor'vattra, Vect's legacy is intertwined with the city's dark and tumultuous history. His long reign has cemented the Cabal of the Black Heart as the first and foremost Cabal, its very establishment predating all others in the city. The Black Heart's dominance is not just a consequence of the vast numbers or military might, but is deeply embedded in its intricate web of political machinations and strategic alliances. Vect's age and experience spanning over 10 millennia lend him a prescient wisdom and a ruthlessness that have ensured the Cabal's possession at the apex of Kor'vattra's hierarchy. His knowledge of ancient and forbidden lore, his mastery over the dark arts, and his command over the most fearsome warriors and assassins make him an indomitable force. The Blackheart's influence permeates every corner of the Dark City, its power extending through a network of spies, enforcers, and covert operatives that enforce Vect's will. Its colors are black and silver with maroon weapons, though their armor appears to glow a sickly green. They specialize in large-scale raids and heavy fortification sieges. In a city defined by treachery and shifting alliances, the Cabal of the Black Heart stands as an unyielding bastion of control. Vect's unparalleled strength and the Cabal's extensive reach ensure that it remains the foremost power in Cor'marrah. Its shadow casts long and dark over all who dwell within the city's treacherous depths. The Cabal of the Black Heart, the oldest and most formidable of its kind, was born from the ashes of the cult of the Black Heart. Founded by Asdrubael Vect, it emerged from the chaos of Cor'marrah's early days to challenge the Sun cults and disrupt the established order. Vect, ever the master tactician, transformed the cult into a powerful Cabal, a tool for dismantling the old nobility and establishing his own dominion over the Dark City. So one thing I couldn't find a lot of information was the preceding cults.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know anything more about that.
Like, I can assume they're just like, I know they talk about pleasure cults all the time, so he probably took one of maybe the less kind of cults, or maybe like a warrior cult, or like
Something, yeah. But yeah, there was like
but
nothing.
whatever excessive cult he kind of started with, it was probably like a warrior bound one.
It makes sense for what
But-
they are. Yeah. Yeah, because they were called the Cult of the Black Heart, and then they became the Cabal of the Black Heart.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of the original origins of all these gangers. It's like, yeah, they once were cultists, essentially.
And then they just congealed into Cabals. And then there's also the Cult of the Sun.
Yeah, I had never
which
heard
also-
of that.
Yeah, and there's no like link. I live for the links.
Did you ask chatbot?
No, I trust only Lexicon on my guy. You don't trust the chatbots. They are an
Abominable.
abominable intelligence,
Yeah,
and I will
but
not
they're
trust.
fun and they're cute. And I've named mine Tom.
Does he respond to Tom?
No,
Um,
doesn't like it when I talk to him. Honestly,
As the first Dark Eldar Cabal, the Black Heart's rise was marked by both ferocity and cunning. Its sprawling organization now supports a multitude of rival Archons, each commanding their own faction within the Cabal's vast hierarchy. The Archons, fierce and ambitious, vie for Vect's favor and the power it bestows. Yet despite their ambition, none dare to challenge Vect directly. Such folly would invite their own destruction, for Vect's grip on Cor'marrah is as unyielding as it is pervasive. His knowledge of betrayal and subterfuge is legendary, and even the most private dreams of dissent are likely to be known by him. So don't even dream about overthrowing him, or he will show up and kill you.
in your dream. he'll
In
be
your
there.
dream,
Yeah.
like Freddy Krueger.
yeah, let the Mandrake show up and just devour you.
Yeah. It is also cool to note. So again, Cabal Blackheart, kind of like the big dogs in the yard. Typically, an Archon is the head of a Cabal, but because this is so big, they have multiple Archons, and they also are as much each other's rivals as they are rivals of external Cabals too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all trying to like vie for like Vect's favor, and like they'll screw over the other Archon to get the head, and all the same stuff they do to each other. They do to each other as part on the same team.
But
There-
these guys are the best at it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Or the
Right.
worst. Hard to tell.
There is a question here. Gerald asks, are the souls actually converted into some kind of substance like food or drink? Or is it like draining a battery
Through a USB port.
through a USB port? Sorry, that's an important detail.
Yeah, and I kind of always pick just like that soul suck where, you know, somebody puts their hand on you and you just kind of get your soul sucked out. And you
Energy.
up and,
Like an energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's the way I've pictured it most of the time too, because I don't imagine there's like a food or like a soul to matter converter sitting
I
around.
always thought they just
they do
Turn
have
them
no
into
that
fine
technology
powder.
kind of does exist. So like there are plenty of examples in 40K of being able to trap souls in location. Like even soul gems for the Eldar are essentially
Yeah.
Sure.
that concept. So
I guess so.
You know,
Yeah.
I
or
could-
in
I-
a sword.
or in a sword. Yeah, I could imagine, you know, they do have like a wallet with maybe like some type of coins that can hold souls. And it's like this soul has 10,000 coins on, so I don't have to bring 10,000 slaves to the market.
it's like Bitcoin.
It's like Bitcoin.
Soul
but
coin.
souls.
Soul coin.
Okay.
Oh.
Our next project.
Next one. Screw the Warlords of Terror Magic the Gathering deck.
We're starting our own
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin
soul coin.
How do you mine the soul coin?
by capturing people and harvesting their souls, Jordan. Yeah, with the
What do you
program.
think we're doing after the show? Why do you think we brought you?
Am I
Behind
ever
us-
getting out of this basement?
No, never. Vect's influence extends beyond mere military might. His network of spies, informers, and agents penetrates every layer of Cor'marrah, ensuring that the Cabal of the Black Heart wields more power than even the largest of its rivals. This network provides him with a near total surveillance of the city's intricate and treacherous politics, allowing him to preempt threats and manipulate events to his advantage. So yeah, just trust no one. Is essentially the lesson. In the broader expanse of the galaxy, the Blackheart's raiding territory stretches near Vigilus, a testament to their far-reaching ambitions and the far-flung grasp of their power. Here, the Cabal's influence continues to grow, casting a long shadow over the Dark Elder's many enemies and rivals.
You mean the Dark Elder on Vigilus? Like everyone else is on Vigilus?
Everyone,
Yeah,
No.
why did they go there? Who knows? But they did.
They want that portal. It's very important for them to
Very
have that
important,
corridor.
yeah.
even though they could theoretically pop up anywhere. Yes.
Very important.
Yeah, that's kind of they could have done a better job of having an excuse for them to be there.
Yeah, they
And of course, I want them to be there.
Always
They all
could
need
do
to
a
be
better job. I think.
there.
The last 10 years, we can stay at this state.
Could have done a better job.
Hello, Primaris. Welcome to the show. It's just
All right, notable servants and lieutenants. Grumanel. Is that how you say it? I think.
Dude, don't even ask. Why
It's
are you
it's
asking us?
always yes. It's
no one else
always
can
yes.
read the notes but us.
Okay. A homunculus of the Blackheart Cabal is a figure of unnerving expertise and malevolent artistry. His name is synonymous with the most exquisite and excruciating tortures imaginable. Honed over centuries of meticulous refinement, his skills have elevated him to the status of dark reverence within the Cabal, making him both a valuable asset and a figure of whispered dread. During the Kor'vattra conflict, Grumanel's service to the Black Heart was marked by a begrudging compliance, his allegiance tempered by a disdain for the constraints of war. The conflict, though profitable, was but a stage for his true passions, capturing and tormenting slaves.
True passion.
Guys, they're taking me away from my art.
His primary interest lay not in the grand strategies or political machinations that dominated the conflict, but in the perverse art of his craft. He saw each skirmish and raid as an opportunity to amass a new collection of victims for his experiments and grotesque exhibitions.
Jordan. You just like the word exhibition. You dirty Dark Elder.
Filthy boy. Okay, with the conflict's end, Grumanel eagerly seized the chance to indulge in his dark desires. The cessation of large-scale warfare allowed him to delve deeper into his obsession with suffering, pursuing a personal agenda of carnage and twisted experimentation. His laboratories, shrouded in shadows and echoing with the screams of his victims, are a testament to his relentless pursuit of new methods of torment. Each new subject, captured during raids or acquired through dark deals, becomes a canvas for his ghastly artistry. I like the flair, whoever wrote this.
Whoever.
Yeah, she did a good
Whoever
job, you
wrote
know? Yeah.
Grumanel's
to turn it up a notch. I mean,
Grumanel's approach to his work is marked by a chilling detachment, viewing each act of cruelty not merely as an exercise in domination, but as a refined and sacred ritual. His mastery over pain and suffering has made him both feared and revered, a creature of such profound depravity that even among the Dark Eldar, his practices stand out as particularly horrific. In the darkened corridors of the Black Heart's realm, his name is spoken with a mixture of awe and revulsion, a reminder of the boundless depths of cruelty that define their world.
Yeah, like of all the people in the entire 40K universe, there's probably one person you don't want to get caught by.
The one.
Of
I
all-
can think of at least 100.
well, like of all, yeah, he's the worst to get caught by. I'll say that. Yeah, like you know, if you get caught by Tyranids, you're just gonna get turned to soup. You probably get killed instantly. Like,
So this Grumanel character, like, isn't this Vect's whole brand is to be like cruel and
yeah,
so this guy like what one ups him or what?
He's like the dark scientist type.
like he's
Vect
like,
is
he's
a
like the
cruel-
Goebbels to Hitler. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that's a
He's
good
another level of depravity.
Okay.
Yeah.
we got a question here. Do you think any of the Kabals could actually threaten the universe, or are they only really a threat in Komorrah from Treefies?
That's a good question, actually.
I don't think so. I don't, like we discussed earlier, they don't care. They don't.
Yeah.
seem
Sure,
like
but
they
let's
care about it.
suppose they wanted to conquer the galaxy and somehow like use that as a uniting force. Are there
Right.
enough of them? Do they?
I think they have some crazy technology, and if they don't care, like just imagine they can harness suns and relocate suns. Can they extinguish suns? Like there's so many things that they could do, especially that. So normally in war, you know, you don't necessarily want to do absolute damage because then what's the point of taking that land? But they don't care about that. They can just go and just blow up that sun.
Yeah.
Now this solar system gone. And
Well,
that
okay, then
all those armies are no longer their concern.
if you're talking about, okay, are you saying could they just blow up the whole universe then? Okay, sure, maybe, but then that kind of defeats the point of the question, because like, could they take the whole universe is more, because
Well,
like
I think you blow up
if
key
any-
spots is the thing, you know,
Could
like
any-
you don't blow up your maiden and crown worlds of the Eldar, but you do blow up
Terra.
you do blow up Sol,
Yeah.
and then there goes the
Terra,
Mechanicum
the
whole
Mechanicus,
world.
yeah.
Yeah, like you know,
sure,
so
but then everyone could do that theoretically too. Everyone's got an exterminator.
I don't-
level thing.
I don't know if everyone has the ability to kill a sun. Like a missile at a sun isn't necessarily going to
Necron.
explode it.
Necron.
Yeah, no,
sure
there are a
could.
couple, but like they are a new threat that have just kind of walked. Like Tau, yeah, maybe
Sure,
they
but
have
okay,
some way to
keep in mind-
destabilize it.
keep in
But
mind-
once again, like all those races, they want the galaxy. So Necron, they don't want to do that because they want their own slaves and serfs.
Yeah.
Where
But so keep in mind, as this Dark Eldar army emerges, they're
Yeah.
also facing off with Necron. They're facing off with the Tyrants. They're facing off with the Orcs and humans and everyone else.
yeah. I think it's just they keep doing the tactics that they're doing now, except amp them up, where it's hit and run, except your hidden star systems,
And
so your
blowing
hidden
them up.
stars and blowing them
Yeah,
up.
Sure.
I also think there might be more limitations of them blowing up and capturing suns. Like how that
Sure.
process actually does it take a
Sure.
long time? Does it take a lot of ships? Does it take a lot of manpower? Can
It's
you get
not
close
in
enough
their
to Sol
spot.
before they get blown up by all the Imperial
Yeah,
forces? Right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I think maybe there's too much credit going.
Like,
to the too.
Yeah, I don't think
no
they would
plot
have.
armor. I don't think they could still take on the whole.
No, I don't think so either. Unless they're like super crafty, they play the long game, and like it's
They
like
pit.
you
No,
know,
no.
if you have
They're taking over now. They're pitting everyone against each
Yeah.
other
Well, and
to
that's
do
the
their
other
dirty
thing.
work,
Like
and then they take over.
you know, with an immortal race, we see things in span of 100 years, but
Yeah.
for them, they're looking 1,000. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
even if they do destroy a star and they have to wait 1,000 years to get something back or whatever, like the time frame of their war looks very different than ours. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, it's like they just do their hit and runs, their long-term warfare, and eventually they could do it.
Isn't that just Eldar in general then? Though.
But Eldar, I don't think they have the same thing because they have a connection to the material realm. They don't want to be blowing up planets because they want to inhabit
live
it
there.
in the future.
Yeah.
With the Dark Eldar, they have their home, so they don't care.
But would they prefer? Let's say you were in a Kabal and you're like, you know what? Screw this place.
Yeah,
I don't like living under Vect the boot.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that I could get murdered every other Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go conquer a planet in real space and turn that into my hidey hole.
yeah, and I think like you do that with a lot of the planets. But like, why are we fighting over Armageddon when you can just blow up the sun and be done with that whole system
you
and
wanna make
all
your
the
own.
armies? Yeah, I know, but there's near infinite amount of planets out there, but only some are populated. So like you blow up the ones that are populated and claim the ones that aren't, and then you terraform them and make them your beautiful worlds. Or you capture the small planets and you just wipe out the big ones. You know?
I think if you're going to talk in that way, you have to appreciate then that the Dark Eldar just don't care fundamentally, and so
And that's
it
the
doesn't.
thing.
I think that's maybe the problem with how this comes out, because if you say, oh well, they could just blow up planets, well then they're not doing that because that's not what they'd want to do.
Yeah.
And so the whole could they conquer? They don't want to because they're not obsessed with taking territory in real space. It doesn't seem so.
Sure.
They have no motivation to fight in a normal way.
Again, under the presupposition if they could, if they would, could they? And then the other
Then
question,
they
I think you're overestimating how easily their technology works. Yes, it's super advanced, it's borderline
Sure.
magic, they can do some incredible things, but again, we don't know how those things are conducted.
Sure.
So again, going back to like, if I'm going to blow up Sol, can I get past the defenses to be able to do that? do I have the resources to
Yeah,
fight
'cause
the Imperium to get there?
You'd
Yeah.
think that if they could, they would
I'm
have done
definitely
it.
playing devil's advocate. Gun in my head, no, they don't. They don't even get a codex. No, they're not taking over the galaxy. They don't get a novel. Like obviously,
Or they just get one every 6 years.
I feel like if they could blow up Soul, they would, just because it'd be hilarious to them.
yeah, sure. And maybe like you said, I'm way overplaying their technological ability.
Yeah, it's certainly advanced, like you said. They can steal suns, but again, like how long does that take? How does it actually work?
And who knows? Maybe the Harlequins would come in and Deus Ex Machina their plans away, because that seems like something they would do.
Now, honestly, as part of the Dark Eldar character, I do enjoy the fact that they just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
They don't care, and that's cool. I like that. They're
Yeah.
just like, I honestly don't care about your stupid little war chaos and Imperium. We're dealing with their own problems right now.
In fact, I'm going to come take your citizen.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your
torture him
citizen
for all eternity.
Just for fun.
Just for the heck. Up next, we got another character called Noakia, known as the Daughter of Pain. Was once a formidable figure within the Cabal of the Black Heart, serving as Vect's personal protector. In her role as Vect's handmaiden, she wielded immense power and influence. Her prowess making her one of the most dangerous entities in Cormorant. Her fall from grace was swift as it was brutal, a stark reminder of the volatile nature of the Dark Eldar politics. For reasons shrouded in secrecy between herself and Vect, she was cast out, her exile marked at the end of the once prominent career. Banishment, however, only served to fuel her rage and ambitions. Noakia channeled her bitterness into a relentless quest for vengeance. As she carved a bloody path through the galaxy, her raiding forces grew in number and strength. Each victory over the rival Dark Eldar cabals added to her growing reputation, and her reputation attracted the support of other factions eager to join her cause. The number of slaves she amassed became a testament to the newfound power, a means to further her plans of retribution. Consumed by jealousy and driven by the desire to overthrow Vect, Noakia set her sights on Medusa 5, a planet teeming with potential captives. Her invasion was brutal and efficient, designed to amass a staggering number of souls. Her strategy was to return to Cormorant with a vast horde of slaves, using them as leverage to sway loyalty of those that might otherwise support Vect. Her vision was nothing less than a grand coup, a plan to usurp her former master and seize control of the Cabal of the Black Heart. Yet her ambition was her undoing. Upon her return to Cormorant, her anticipated triumph was shattered by treachery. Her own commanders, driven by ever-present treachery of the Dark Elder Society, turned against her. The nature of her betrayal and subsequent fate remained shrouded in darkness, but the grim and merciless world of the Dark Elder is likely that her death was not merely an end, but a brutal and fitting conclusion to her failed rebellion. In the end, Nokia's fall serves as a grim reminder that the perilous game of power and betrayal that defines the Dark Elder City. Yeah, just another soul for the soul pit, I guess.
The Ubaletti.
Yeah.
Ubaletti.
That's Italian. That's a French word, guys.
Okay, let's jump to Archon Balosian Sithrak. Anyone going to complain about that pronunciation? Going once, going twice.
No.
Sithrak stands as the highest-ranking Archon within the Cabal of the Black Heart, a title that marks him as one of the most trusted and capable lieutenants under the supreme command of Vect. His reputation is built not only on his unwavering loyalty, but also his unparalleled ability to fulfill Vect's desires for chaos and destruction on a grand scale. Unlike his peers, who find themselves embroiled in petty squabbles and fleeting conquests, Sithrak has earned Vect's favor through his extraordinary efforts to undermine and dismantle entire galactic empires. Sithrak's favored pursuit is a grim testament to his genius. He's devoted his existence to hunting down the Imperium's most celebrated heroes with the sole aim of extinguishing their hope and morale.
That's kind of cool, actually. I haven't heard of this guy.
Each assassination serves not just as a tactical blow to the Imperium's command structure, but as a psychological weapon designed to sap the will of humanity itself. For Sithrak, this is not a mere sport, but a profound mission, an endeavor to remind the lesser races of their insignificance and to delight in their suffering. This relentless pursuit of the Imperium's greatest figures has earned him the moniker Soul Hunter, a title that reflects both his prowess and his terrifying methodology. Not to be confused with the Night Lord,
Soul
also
Hunter.
called Soul Hunter.
Yeah, or the Soul Drinker's book called Soul Hunter. Not to be confused.
There's only so many words in
Soul
the
and
English
Hunter.
language.
Okay, how many times?
It should be called Blood. Toss blood somewhere in there. Blood Soul Hunter.
Yeah, this is an interesting one that I feel like fits their vibe so much
Yeah.
better. Just because, like, again, what do they care about? They just care about despair and suffering, and that's what they're at.
Ruining somebody's day.
Yeah, they don't care about conquering empires and taking land. They're just in it for the suffering. They're true servants of Slaanesh.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like people like Commissar Kane or like Abraham Gaunt, like these people are on this guy's hit list, so they gotta look out. These big name guardsmen.
They're probably
Hey, if I know their name, you think this guy doesn't? I'm not even paid to torture and kill skulls.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Imperium is so vast. Who knows? But
yeah,
I mean, they call is it Gaunt? That's the hero of the Imperium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
so his name is up there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Any named character
So
better watch your
who
back.
better to kill than the hero of the Imperium, the current hero of the Imperium? So yeah, kind of a cool thought that this guy, that's his goal. It's just to kill those heroes.
Yeah.
Sithrak's methods are as intricate as they are brutal. With his husk blade, he claims the souls of his victims, trapping them within the sophisticated bioharmonic systems of his armor. These souls are not mere trophies. They have become a source of dark power, enhancing Sithrak's speed and strength, and providing him with a near immortal vigor. The whispers of his captive souls offer a constant chorus in his mind, a cacophony of pleas, threats, and curses that he absorbs and utilizes as a dark form of guidance. During the chaotic turmoil of the disjunction, which was sparked by the attempt to resurrect the fallen Archon El Uriak. Why do I keep getting this guy's name? Komorra was plunged into anarchy. Vect, ever the shrewd tactician, turned to Sithrak to restore order amid the chaos. The Soul Hunter was answered this call with fervor, leading to the Blackheart's forces to crush the rebellious cabals that refused to submit to Vect's rule. Through ruthless efficiency and strategic brilliance, Sithrak was instrumental in quelling the unrest and reaffirming Vect's dominance over the Dark City. As the disjunction began to wane, his efforts played a crucial role in stabilizing Komorra and securing the supremacy of the Cabal of the Blackheart once more.
Cool.
Here's my only question. Why is he unwaveringly loyal? That seems uncharacteristic, especially for someone so high up.
There are some Dark Eldar, like Incubi, if you pay an Incubi, and like loyal. So here's the thing. If you gain a reputation for being loyal and not breaking your word, now you've just become one of the most valuable things to sleep beside in Kor'vattra. Like, you can fall asleep knowing that guy is never going to get bought off, ever. Yeah. So,
it's its own form of currency.
Exactly. While most people will backstab you, but like those Incubi, they've established that you can trust them in their guild.
And trust can also be its own form of self-interest too, right? Like, I build trust, let's say, like if you're Psychophant, right? Like, I build trust with someone who's powerful in the hopes that I become more powerful, right?
Yeah, rising tides raises all ships type
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, so.
Cool character, man. Really cool character. I wonder if there's a model, if he was kind of more a book character or what.
I think he came from a book.
Yeah, okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure most of these are book, except for the Kor'vattra campaign one that was from Dawn of War. Did you play?
Yeah, I played all the Dawn of Wars. Yeah, the Discord's talking about doing a Dawn of War tournament and stuff. Yeah. But I'm like, no. First the Warlords, then we got to do Space Marine 2 events, and everyone creates a 4-man team, and we do some tournaments.
That'd be cool.
We'll do Dawn of War eventually.
All right. Okay, Archon Tyrell. Archon Tyrell of the Cabal of the Black Heart is a figure of both dread and disdain within the Dark Eldar hierarchy. His base of operations is a grim fortress on the moon of Lucane, orbiting the turbulent world of Kor'vattra 4, and serves as a strategic stronghold at the edge of the system. So yeah, like that goes back to the whole Dark Eldar using real space too as like a hideout. It is here that Tyrell operates under the watchful presence of Asdrubael Vect, his master and the ultimate overlord of the Cabal. Tyrell embodies a brand of arrogance that surpasses even the customary hubris of the Dark Eldar as palpable, a reflection of his belief that most are unworthy of his attention. His sole focus lies in the thrill of the hunt, a pursuit he relishes more than the meticulous planning required to defend against potential threats. To him, the other faction leaders are little more than fools, with the notable exception of Farseer Karis and Lord Faravis Charon. Their proximity to his stronghold has earned him the begrudging respect through Tyrell's scorn remains untempered. In battle, Tyrell's forces are a reflection of his own reckless bravado. Unlike the more methodical approach of other factions, Tyrell's tactics revolve around raw aggression and the relentless pursuit of his enemies. His forces, much like the rest of the Dark Eldar, utilize skimmers and other advanced vehicles rather than traditional tanks. These high-speed, lethal machines of war are suited to the swift, predatory strikes that define Tyril's approach. As an Archon, Tyril commands a squad of Incubi bodyguards, a sign of his elevated status within the Cabal. This unit of elite warriors serves as both his personal guard and a formidable fighting force under his command. Unusually, Tyril's war gear options include enhancements designed specifically for his bodyguards rather than for himself. This reflects a strategic preference to bolster the squad's effectiveness, ensuring that they can act as lethal extensions of his will on the battlefield. Tyril's arrogance and focus on the hunt render him a dangerous and unpredictable force within the Dark Eldar's ruthless hierarchy. His disregard for the careful preparation needed to defend against threats speaks to his broader culture of the Dark Eldar, where power and cunning often overshadow prudence. In the cutthroat world of Kor'vattra, Tyril's approach ensures that his name is both feared and begrudgingly respected by those who cross his path. So a lot of this you can see like the stats from the game kind of forcing the lore a little bit, but
it's kind of a cool situation this guy finds himself in where he's kind of this unpredictable character, flies by the seat of his pants, which is not very Dark Eldar, and the fact that he's not always plotting and scheming and seven steps ahead, where like, how do you try to counter somebody?
yeah,
You have no idea what they're gonna do.
he doesn't even know what he's
Right,
going to do.
exactly. Where a lot of the other Dark Elder Cabals, you could probably plot and scream, and you're playing that three-dimensional chess with them. Where this guy, it's just you don't know what he's up to, really.
He might play right into your scheme, or he might completely blindside you with like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like what?
That no
Why'd
one's
you
ever
even
done
do
before.
that? Yeah.
It's cool to see kind of the different kind of characters that Vect has around him. You know, he's got a couple powerful people. I think my favorite is definitely the homunculus. Like, they're just too cool, man. Unfortunately, don't.
Did you do a homunculus episode?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and they're crazy. We had Sam on that episode.
Okay, I was going to say, was I on there? Maybe.
And yeah, he was the perfect guy to talk about that.
I totally
think.
was there too. I just remember.
We do have some allies up next. You know, there's the main Cabal, but then he does have some preferred allies that he likes.
Kabal of the Poisoned Tongue slithers like a serpent through the shadows of treachery, infamous for their razor-sharp intellect and unparalleled duplicity. The Kabalites are masters of deception and subterfuge. They weave webs of deceit with such finesse that even their enemies, most trusted allies, find themselves ensnared and betrayed. Their enemies are left entangled in a net of lies, while their rivals are left reeling from false threats. The Poisoned Tongue's true strikes land where least expected. The cruel dance of survival within the dark city. None dare trust this Cabal's promises or alliances. The Poisoned Tongue revels in the art of manipulation and sabotage. Their reputation is built on preemptive devastation of the enemies through insidious means. In their raids upon real space, they lay false trails and spread fragmented messages, misleading their foes into misallocating their defenses. When the Cabal's true assault finally arrives, it hits with brutal efficiency and utter surprise. The inhabitants of their chosen worlds often find themselves overwhelmed, poisoned, and disoriented long before the actual battle begins. At the helm of this nefarious organization stands Archon Malice, known as Lady Aurelia Malice. She is a figure cloaked in a veneer of cultured aloofness, masking a mind that is as intricate and labyrinthian as the webway itself. Malice's intellect is legendary, her precognitive abilities nearly as renowned. Once a favored consort of the supreme overlord Vect, her brilliance was overshadowed by Vect's growing ennui. How do you say that again?
Yeah, ennui.
Ennui, okay. Cast out from his court, she ventured into the webway, where she encountered a trickster entity in the contest of wills. Her victory over the being resulted in a mystical blade and a crystal harp, augmented her already formidable prowess. This encounter bound her fate with the enigmatic Harlequin mask known as the Veiled Path, further enhancing her power. Her return to Komorrah marked the beginning of her slow, deliberate climb to dominance. In 345 M37, after orc freebooters had raided her forces, Malice exacted cruel revenge. Capturing an orc knob, she infected it with a virus that would obliterate the orc population of Gregus through a horrific biological weapon. The massacre that followed served as a testament to her ruthless ingenuity.
Can we stop right there? Like, so this is another one of these crazy technologies that, like, she just liquidated an entire orc population.
Little
So
disease.
They're just a bunch of spores anyway.
Yeah. But
But like, imagine they could do that. Like they got Gazgul. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. So they have technology. I think it really comes down to they just don't care to do it. They got their own things going on in Kor'vattra.
Right. It's like it makes good sense with their lore, and I like the way it all fits together. But it's a way of making. How do you make these people that basically don't have any of the resources that any of the other groups have effective against something, so they can actually win? And it's they have better tech, and so they do weird things, and then you just lose, and that's how they'd be able to win. Which is honestly, it works well. It's not badly set up for what they want it to do for them. And the fact that they don't care makes it just, they'll just come in and obliterate stuff and leave.
Yeah.
And they
Not even think twice about it.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
By 999 M41, Malice's foresight became a pivotal force as Vect's machinations threatened to unleash daemons upon Komorrah. She activated her assets across the Dark City. The ensuing chaos saw empiric energy from the Eye of Terror battering the city as skirmishes erupted between factions oblivious to their shared goal. The city itself trembled on the brink of annihilation, with hairline cracks spreading across Cain's Gate. In the early M42, Malice's cunning once again proved pivotal. She evaded a series of orchestrated massacres by Vect, relocating her Kabal to the obscure recesses of the webway. As her rivals fell victim to Vect's schemes, Malice extended her influence, seizing control over key districts, with Komorrah and established hidden strongholds in the webway. Among these was a toxin manufactory created in collaboration with a Grand Harlequin mask. One of her most audacious schemes involved the capture of a powerful psyker from an Imperial prison barge. Malice had foreseen the arrival of a massive space hulk and orchestrated a plan to exploit it. Her agents sabotaged the prison barge, causing it to collide with the hulk, resulting in a tragic loss of her forces, but inching her closer to her goal of securing devastating weapons on the planet of Casdimas. She intended to use these weapons to destroy her rival Archon, Erethis, and sift the blame onto the humans. Lady Malice is a tempest of elegance and lethal intent. On the battlefield, she is as swift as she is deadly, armed with a razor-edged steel fan and semi-sentient sword known as the Lady's Blade. The latter, a relic from her fateful contest in the webway, is as unpredictable as it is dangerous. Malice's unusual abilities render her immune to psychic attacks, and her precognitive powers allow her to dodge blows and stay ahead of her foes' strategies. Her combat style is a deadly dance of anticipation and precision, making her one of the most feared and enigmatic figures in the Dark City. In the grim dark theater of war, Lady Malice stands as a paragon of both intellect and savagery. Her every move a calculated step towards ultimate dominance. The Soul Seeker pistol, a treasured relic of the Poisoned Tongues, fires toxic splitters from spirit stones. Upon impact, these splinters burst into clouds of empathagic vapors.
It's a word, Google it.
French.
Ensuring that her enemies are as helpless as they are agonized.
I believe it's a word you never say. It's like, how do I say that? Like oublet.
I heard
Oublet.
typically if somebody mispronounces a word, but like they say it or whatever, they learned it reading that word reading.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, okay, they clearly knew what that word was, but they mispronounced it like an idiot. Yeah, they probably learned that reading.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse.
Great excuse. I use it all the time.
whatever helps everyone.
Whatever Lorehammer legal lets me get away with.
There it is.
Yeah, the poison tongue, it's cool. It's not necessarily part of Vect's situation, but you know, these two were lovers probably. Then they became enemies, rivals. Now they're allies, I suppose.
Yeah,
That's as close as it can be in Kor'vattra.
Oh, I think a lot of her stuff stems from the recent Kill Team campaign, Gallo Dark and Gallo Fall.
Oh, really?
They had a Dark Eldar Kill Team that was like Poison Tongue. But she's existed before. Like she's featured in other codices. But
Yeah.
I mean, that recent part where like the collision of the Hulk and everything comes from that whole campaign, which I have not actually read.
So
Just the lexicanum.
just
the
the
lexicanum.
old lexicon.
Someone has those books, they could send it our way. Send it at James Complaints.
Just email the books to us.
The whole book
Not
in
PDF.
paper format.
Up next, we got the Witch Cult of Strife. There's more details of this in future witch episodes. I don't know about that.
Did we do a witch episode?
We did
I did
witch
the same thing with
episodes.
the homunculi one, and then I remembered that I was actually on that episode. So I subtly tried to remove it from the notes.
Yeah, no, we definitely did a witch episode. I forget which one, but that was one of my favorite episodes. It was like we did witches.
You did the different like subclasses.
Yeah.
Was it the same one with the homunculi?
No, I think we did 3 separate ones. I think we did like Kabals, then we did witch cults, and then we did homunculi. But I really like the witches and the homunculi episodes we did.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff there. In the heart of Kor'vattra, where the shadows conspire and treachery reigns, the cult of strife stands out as the zenith of witch cults. Its ascent to dominance is not a tale of bloody coups, but such a subterfuge.
Did you learn that word reading?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I did. You know, because you only write those kind of words down. You don't speak them out loud, lest they hear. But one of the exalted speed and the artistry of bloodshed. Through the sheer brilliance of her excellence, Lilith Hesperax, the cult of strife, has transcended mere combat prowess to become the epitome of gladiatorial perfection. Lilith Hesperax, the shimmering jewel,
Freudian.
the jamming jewel. I've been on Reddit too much, I guess. Those guys. The shimmering jewel of the cult is a living legend whose unparalleled talents have elevated her above her peers. Each night, the Colosseum of Kor'vattra thrums with the anticipation of her deadly performances. Audiences drawn by her lethal charisma pay extortionate sums to witness her spectacular displays of violence. From the grotesque to the formidable, Lilith dances through the cacophony of foes, raging orcs, captured carnifexes, grotesque abominations, and fallen archaeons fall before her with chilling grace.
Just quick pause. There could be like a whole sub game of just arena fighting in the pits of Kor'vattra.
That'd be cool.
Sweet, right?
We did get at one point this jet bike racing game where they gave us towers and some jet bikes and had some rules. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Why not gladiators?
But why not gladiators?
Yes.
Yeah, why only jet bikes?
Was there a game with the orc cars, or was that only a video game?
Speed Freaks. No, it was a tabletop game.
Yeah, that's another one we're doing on the Discord. Speed Freaks is free, so we can all download and race orc buggies around.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. I probably knew it was a game, but I just had forgotten. So yeah, they do little weird games like that.
The other cool one
They
I
went
wanna
through
try-
a phase.
Yeah.
GW went through like a growing phase where they like, let's see what sticks. Let's just throw all this at the wall.
Another one of those was the orc fighter plane one, Dakajet or whatever they call it, where you fly as an orc plane and you're just dogfighting. It's pretty fun. If you like that more than cars. So.
I like planes. I like. You know what their demographic of the orcs are?
Yeah.
4-year-olds.
They had this other
Do you
guy-
like trains?
Yeah.
I would kill for a good 40k train.
Oh, a good land train game. Yeah, well, unfortunately, they ruined the squat. We get no more land trains, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Lilith values the rulers of Kor'vattra value to the rulers of Komorra is immense, making her rare appearances in real space a spectacular of unrivaled ferocity. When she does venture beyond the city's confines, she fights with relentless rage of a demon, returning to Komorra laden with trophies of her conquest. These grisly relics are celebrated by her fervent devotions, but soon vanish into a sea of decapitated heads that fill the what is this word, Christian?
Opulent.
Opulent.
Oh my god, it's not even that crazy.
Never heard it, never experienced. I don't think I like it. Halls of her private mansions. The cult of strife presence in the galaxy at large is thus sporadic, for the cabals of the High Komorra more commonly take up the mantle of real space raids. The absence of Lilith's mesmerizing performances often leaves a void, and nothing spurs from the Dark Elder to bloodshed more effectively than the specter of Inu. What is that word? Now we've seen it twice.
It's French for like blasé, like boring.
ENNUI.
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 You guys want to speak French? What
Ennui.
What is it? Oubliette? Ennui? What's
In recent times, Lilith and her cult have aligned themselves with the enigmatic Yannari, engaging alongside the Craftworld kin. They now wage war against the forces of chaos in the Galactic East. This unexpected is a new chapter in the cult story's history, and as they adapt their artistry of war to broader struggle against the encroaching darkness. And maybe that's the other thing. Anyone who, like any Dark Eldar who really does care about the non-Komorra universe, they become Yannari, and they go do that. Or they become Eldar pirates, where they are different than Corsairs. Than Dark Eldar, like Eldar Corsairs. So maybe that's kind of what happens, because that's kind of what happened to her. She all of a sudden had a religious experience and left Komorra, and now is actively engaging and trying to do stuff in the real space.
But I don't like Enid. I don't like the whole faction.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be my only way out.
Yeah, no, we can say anything written in the past 8 years can be pretty much ignored.
Throw it in the trash.
No, why don't you like Enid? Can you give that to Quick, or do you have to go into a lot?
Let's say it for the Enid.
It all comes down to 9
when I was a little boy.
All right, let's go to my favorite, the Prophets of Flesh.
Perfect.
So it's a homunculi coven in the grim heart of Komorra, amidst the ceaseless horror and ceaseless ambition. The Prophets of Flesh reign supreme among the homunculi covens, commanded by the ancient and malevolent homunculus Urian Rakarth. The coven stands as a twisted testament to the Dark Elder's capacity for cruelty and innovation. Their perverse interest lies not only in their own kind, but extends to the transformation of non-Dark Eldar species, most notably the Tau, into grotesque abominations of flesh and sinew. I kind of like these guys. I don't know why.
I hate the Tau too.
I too hate the Tau. The Prophets of Flesh are not mere allies, but trusted partners of Vect, the supreme overlord of Komorra. As blessings upon him, peace be upon his name. Their bond with the Cabal of Blackheart was forged as a ruthless alliance, culminating in a devastating joint raid into real space. The Coven's raiding territory stretches across the precarious borderlands between Segmentum Tempestus and the Ultimate Segmentum, where they sow terror and despair with grim precision. Upon their introduction into the Coven, each rack is subjected to a nightmarish transformation. Their limbs are branded, tattooed, or mutilated according to the whims of the homunculi masters. The twisted rites of the Prophets of Flesh are as much about physical alteration as they are about establishing dominance. Racks who distinguish themselves through acts of inventive cruelty earn a grisly reward of having their marked limbs severed and replaced with limbs harvested from the Prophet's vast flesh libraries. Such grotesque trophies are not mere symbols of rank, but marks of honor among these creatures. So I have a question. After 10,000 years of being cruel and weird,
you never get tired of it.
How do you get an inventive? Well, how do you come up with something new? You're just like, I'm
gonna put his thumbs on his toes and his toes on his thumbs.
Yes. No one's ever thought of it before. I don't know. That seems like
it's like 40K is like constant grim darkness, right? Like
sure, but
new and cruel ways, but they won't tell you the cruel ways
because they
literally can't think of it.
Yeah,
literally thought of everything.
As aspirants ascended within the ranks of the homunculi, the exterior may appear purer, free of the ghastly modifications of lower ranks. Yet this outwardly purity belies the corruption of their souls, as the higher echelons are marked by an ever deeper descent into malevolence. The prophets of flesh, while bound by the prohibition of psychic activities that pervades Komorrah, have found their own perverse methods of divination. They eschew traditional soothsaying and instead seek the universe's dark truths through the horrifying effects of their own atrocities. In their pursuit of knowledge, the prophets of flesh have crafted a realm of torment and grotesque experimentation. They are a living nightmare on the borders of Segmentum, where the prophets of flesh are not merely creators of monstrosities, but embodiments of the darkest facets of the Dark Eldar's nature, reveling in the art of suffering and the boundless cruelty of their craft.
I mean, I can't remember what I had for breakfast 3 weeks ago. How are you going to remember you sewed a foot onto a face on that one guy 3,000 years ago? What
Thanks,
a
Neil.
comment. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, you get it. You get it.
You're a flesh crafter.
Oh, so the plan is just like,
We keep forgetting the old stuff. We're constantly reinventing new stuff.
have you tried putting toes on thumbs and thumbs on toes? I came up with this new idea just now.
We're almost at the end of the episode, but before we do the last little bit of reading, if you want to join us on the call in a couple minutes, put your name in the Discord. Somehow reach out to me. Put it in the private chat. Somehow reach
Psychically
out. And,
link to Mark if you can.
Hey, yeah. Oh, who entered there? Don't do that. But yeah, if you want to reach out, we're almost at that point in the show, so we'll keep reading.
Cool.
This would be Christian. I
Oh.
think
I'm supposed to have closing thoughts.
your closing thoughts that I wrote for you.
Thank you, Mark, for thinking my thoughts for me.
You're welcome.
And so Asdrubael, Vect, and the Kabal of the Black Heart maintain their iron grip on Komorrah through a delicate balance of terror and temptation, the mastery of fear matched only by their unrivaled capacity for corruption. Vect's control is woven into the very fabric of the Dark City. Whispers of his spies, assassins, and enforcers fill every shadowed alley and grand spire. Those who dare defy him find themselves not only hunted but erased, turned into agonized examples that feed the city's insatiable thirst for suffering. Yet for those who swear fealty, Vect offers unimaginable rewards, wealth, power, and a steady flow of souls to sate their hungers. The allure of privilege and safety under his rule is as irresistible as the dread that grips those on the outside. Many in Komorrah believe that Vect's reign is eternal, for his influence runs too deep, his schemes too intricate to ever be unraveled. In the end, it is this combination of abject fear and selfish greed that keeps the Black Heart enthroned, ensuring that Vect's dominion over the Dark City will endure as long as the stars burn cold.
Yeah.
Unless you blow up Komorrah, and now he's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, so we raised that question, like, what if the Dark Eldar wanted to eliminate the galaxy? Like, what would it take for somebody to eliminate Komorrah? Like, who
Who could do it?
What would it take?
The Salamanders.
Wrong. Faking
One
gay.
green boy.
No, like, what if like a Tyranid Splinter Fleet got in there somehow? That could really raise a muck. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
You're
how
kind
do
of
you-
like playing in their territory too, right?
Yeah, and like
for
you break into one spot and they just seal it off in the webway.
and
Now,
then blast you with demons.
Well, I think I think the real way you'd do it is you would have to almost play an Eldar game. You'd have to like take out some of the leadership, and then maybe throw some chaos around so they're all
Let them kill each
infighting.
other.
Yeah, I mean that's if you're and maybe sabotage their way of fending off Slanesh somehow. That seems like the most reasonable way.
If the
You'd have to play a different game. You can't. I don't
Mm.
think you could assault it. That's just
Directly.
not the way.
Yeah, so it'd be like a game of breaking seals almost. Like you
Yeah.
almost want to get to the other side of Kane's gate and break that seal or break other seals like
Yeah.
that.
I think that's if I was an Octarius general, that's how I would do it.
Okay. I don't mind that. Yeah, I think that would be the way. Because, yeah, like you try to invade and they're just going to cut you off. There's too many people there. You're going to get lost in the upside down, twisted world of Komorrah.
In that vein, who would have the motivation to do that? Who would be really going, I need to get the Dark Eldar specifically? No, I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
anyone cares enough to. It's
Yeah.
a kind of funny thing.
They don't care about you. You don't care about them.
Yeah, exactly. We kill each other.
They
They
make
I need to move to Komorrah.
It depends if they make themselves a nuisance enough. I could
Yeah.
see someone like Ullman, like they keep raiding my like worlds. We can't have this anymore.
Sure.
I'm gonna go in there and just
Yeah,
or
and
at least destroy their.
I could
level.
imagine, like, there's this cabal that raids one of Ultramar's 500 worlds, and raises the Eye of Gilliman, and then Vect steps in and is like, we could not allow to get that kind of attention, and then punishes that Cabal. Like,
Yeah.
you stepped out of line.
That would be
on
interesting.
that
Yeah,
one.
like you attract the attention of, let's say, that would be an interesting story. Is you get the attention of Gilliman, who now has to, like, okay, now I have to deal with this problem because he doesn't have enough.
Yeah.
And so he says, okay, we're gonna do this, and somehow like sends a team of like Grey Knights or something into Gamora and breaks a seal. So it's not necessarily like gates open, but it like freaks them out. It's like, okay, who did that?
Yeah.
That would
And
would
they
be
keep doing it.
Maybe not Grey Knights, but
Like
like
they turn off
someone
the
who would
lights.
care to do that. That would be like a sweet, like maybe an assassin. I don't know who would be good enough to do that. I don't even know.
Yeah, like,
Maybe some assassins might.
yeah, and then you'd have to like, well, they have to be some type of like psychic assassin if they want to break seals and stuff. Like,
Yeah, well, they have.
or, yeah, they do have psychic assassins or like blank assassins.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Like
maybe it
assassin.
would be like a custodian, a squad of like sisters go in and to like
Yeah,
break
that'd be
a seal.
cool.
That would be
That'd be
sweet.
sweet, man.
Yeah,
That'd be
man, that would be a
freaking-
job worthy of them. You know,
Yeah.
you wouldn't see those types of forces on an orc battlefield, but like a mission like that, ooh,
Yeah, that would be a cool story.
yeah, very cool.
I don't know if you guys, maybe I hope I didn't zone out, but
You were zoned out this whole time. Don't lie.
no, I wasn't. But like the origin of Vect.
Yeah, we briefly touched on it, but all we really know is he's just some lowborn.
Yeah, he started from the bottom.
No, he was like a slave.
Yeah, lowborn slave.
Get
You
outta
know, I think.
I think he's rather aspirational.
But yeah, we really don't know much
He's
about
like
it.
a modern day Slumdog Millionaire.
You started in the photocopy room, cutting off people's thumbs.
Now you're the CEO. Now you're the CEO.
Now you're the CEO.
Now he's the CEO cutting off people's thumbs attached to the tits because it's on that 3,000-year cycle. So
Exactly.
Early life is an interesting thing with Eldar. We stumbled across on the last episode, like Eldar don't care about time, obviously, but they also don't care about distance with the webway. But just focusing on that time and like Vec's early childhood, like
Happened so long ago. It's like
it's such a short amount of
so
time.
yeah, exactly. So
he's been the ruler of Komorra for longer than he's been a child.
Yeah, by thousands of years.
Do
But,
Eldar have like a growing up time that's similar to humans?
yeah, I would imagine. I wonder what they actually say their
Their
timeline
gestation
is.
periods
Yeah.
are, and
I know they have given like gestation periods of like in the womb and stuff, but I can't recall them off the top of my head.
why would you? I would question you if you did.
That'd be weird.
You want to talk about crotolets? I'm your guy. Eldar pregnancies, go to Reddit.
Go there. For all the pictures.
For all the pictures, go to Reddit. Anyone in the call-in part here? I sent some links to a couple people.
We got some here. I'm gonna bring in Gerald here first. We're gonna need your bring on your headphones so you can hear him.
I'm not even plugged in.
Maybe I don't even know if that'll.
Let's try it. If not, you
See
might
if
just
it
have to
works.
repeat everything he says because like
No, don't do
You
that.
can plug in
Plug
mine.
into your computer, my boy.
Or we can.
One and one, yeah.
Yeah.
we got that.
1-1, yeah. Get intimate.
Here, let me get in there.
Yeah, get intimate.
We'll squeeze
All
in.
right. See, I'm adding Gerald.
Oh, hey,
Gerald,
it's
welcome
Gerald.
in.
I know that.
Hello, can you hear me?
I get it.
Well, we don't have. You can't talk to Christian, but you can talk to anyone else here.
That's
Gerald.
okay. No one wants to talk.
Fine, I
To
didn't want to talk to
I'll
Christian
sit and wait
anyways.
patiently.
That guy. That's good.
Oh, nothing much. Good stuff on Vect and the Dark Eldar. So
Yeah. How would you beat him?
bold of you to assume I could. I mean,
Well,
this
I'm
dude has
asking a
backup plans for
theoretical
backup
question.
plans for backup plans. So I don't know. My chances are pretty slim.
I'm giving you all the resources of any of the races you want. How do you beat him?
Probably get someone else to do my dirty work, get him to fight off someone, and then yeet that chunk of Kamara into the void, just like he does. Use his
Wait,
own,
okay,
use
so
his
are
own
you-
tactics against him.
Are you him? Are you Vect?
Maybe.
Interesting. Gerald is.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I literally cannot hear.
Poor Christian. Do you got a specific question for us? A thought that you gathered from this episode or anything?
None specifically, but I am curious because someone brought it up in a discussion a few months back. It's just like a lot of people seem to think that like the Drukhari make up the vast majority of the Eldar. So I kind of wonder, how do they number in comparison to the craft worlders? Because we always hear about they're like a dying race on the verge of extinction. So it's just like, are there more of one or more of the other, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the dying race. Let's maybe adjust. Let's go to that first. So like, I think they're more of a dying race, more so just like they've hit their peak and it's the fall of civilization. It's not like they can't reproduce anymore. It's more like I think it's more metaphorically dying. Like, yeah, they are dying, but they're also all immortal and they can still have children and they could build back up. But it's like
Build back better, even.
Build back better. Yeah, but no, it's like that fall has happened and now it's on the degrade. So, that whole myth that the Eldar are like running out of people or Eldar or whatever, I don't think that's the case. I think like they're still around and doing fine. They can maintain what they have. They just aren't able to expand anymore or grow or do anything like that. Like, as for like who has more, I don't know. GW is notoriously bad with numbers, so like,
Fair point.
yeah. I would like to think though that the Dark Eldar probably have more, just because they are definitely not affected the same way by death as everyone else. Like, they can come back. So, the other guys aren't coming back.
Because I think, I can't remember who it was specifically, but I think they said, like, by the time the Slaanesh was birthed, like, the vast majority of the Eldar at that time were basically what amounted to the Dark Eldar. And it was only a select few that were either Exodites or Craft Worlders, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an interesting thought for sure. Yeah, I think I'd give it to Dark Eldar though. Just like there's more of them. They're also doing more debaucherous stuff. Like, for the craft world to create a baby, it's like a whole emotional, spiritual, mental process. Where I don't think it's that same way with the Dark Eldar. I don't think they put that same parental thought into it.
I got to take Dad Hammer into consideration. So no
Yeah,
more
they're not listening to Cool. Any other quick thought, or we'll jump to the next person?
Nah, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure.
See you, Joe.
I
Go
completely
check out,
agree with everything you said, Gerald.
Shut up, you can't hear. Go check out Grimlore's. Gerald's a homeboy. Go check out his show. It's always good. I think you guys are actually on Grimlore.
Yeah,
there.
we just did a guest spot with them, crossover episode.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So Star Wars,
Star
Grimlore, go check that out. Sounds good. I might have to even listen to that one.
For the first time.
First time. Up next, I think we got one other person. There we go.
Srats.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good. I'm just going to start off by saying it's great to see you all in the same room.
Amigo, yeah.
How do you know we're in the same room? The backgrounds are
I
completely
saw
different.
when Mark said something controversial, I saw you like put your head up a little bit.
The familiar look of like, oh god,
Yeah,
we're all losing our jobs.
Yeah.
What will I do with my Friday nights?
What is your
Oh, it's a meerkat.
oh, it's a meerkat. Okay. Cool.
It's Maru, the meerkat.
Marvin the Meerkat.
Nice.
Okay,
Hit us with it. What do you think of the Dark Eldar? And
I've
specifically
always
Vect.
personally liked them like quite a bit. It's just like I entered in the end of 3rd edition when they were all like really weird still.
And the models
you'd,
were
like-
crazy, man.
Oh yeah, I think I still have some of them, like the weird metal Autark with the like the skin face thing. And
Do you
then,
have
like,
the naked women on the barge though?
oh,
that's the real
I
question.
did have that, but we sold it.
Oh,
Sold
so
it to another
sad.
pervert.
Yeah, exactly.
Dressed in shit.
Handing it off to the next person.
I like it.
you got to share the joy.
I don't like that.
Exactly. It was nothing to do with my mum finding the Warhammer collection.
Oh no!
All right, what's your question or comment there?
I just noticed like recently the model range is like gone. What would you do to like encourage it? Because their lore's so good, and they've been around for so long that it's strange that they don't have like access to the amount of models that other people. I think they even have less than Craft Eldar now.
Yeah, like I'm thinking through their range and everything that they have. Like, yeah, you could make a new Kabalite kit or Witches kit or Homunculus kit, but what does that really give you? it'd be cool, to see some type of element of Kor'vattra come through. And maybe maybe it's like having more Xenos allies or something. And I don't quite know exactly.
All they have to do is make them really good in tabletop, and people will buy them. Make
Yeah.
the rules good.
Make them completely broken.
Yeah,
They are
break
the meta.
rules. Yeah, and that's all it takes.
Okay, that's a better answer than me. Easier, simpler.
Yeah, if they make like they I'm pretty sure GW has always had kind of a special place for Eldar. They've always been one of the best armies. Like every edition, they always come out as being the most broken army.
Yeah.
And then they like nerf them down eventually. But every edition, they're always the best. Now that might be because they sell the worst. And so they always trying to like, oh, we need to get more Eldar sales up. And so they just always make them broken every time.
Yeah.
Because literally every edition since I've started, they've always been like the top tier, and they kind of slowly whittle them down. But like as soon as the edition comes out,
Back
bam, they're clearing out.
Was this the edition with the orcs and the space marines?
That was Black Reach 3rd edition.
Was it third? I remember because that's
Assault
when
on
the
Black
Dark Eldar got their new.
No.
upgrades,
That was that the 3rd edition was Black Templar and Dark Eldar, and the 4th edition was Ultramarines and the Octarius Orc guys.
Oh, that's yeah. Because I remember like when the new models came out, they were just unstoppable, and then they just disappeared again.
Yeah. Do you have a specific model you wish they did a revamp on, or?
Oh, it has to be the barge. I mean,
Sure.
The barge.
Yeah.
I feel like that would sell well now with the crafting ability they have. They could really sell the woman on the barge.
That's
Oh,
never
the
happened.
detail we can get now with the miniatures, man. The details, it's exquisite.
That's probably why the Blood Angels don't have nipples anymore. They're like perfecting it just for that.
No. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation of sadness. The lack of nipples and wings on the Blood Angels.
We'll fight about that later.
We'll
'cause
fight
I
about
like
that later.
Do angels really need nipples?
They do, so they can breastfeed cherub.
Exactly.
Jordan, it's like, have you even read your Bible?
Psalms 27:7.
Exactly, Earth
Yeah,
that
man. I know that verse by heart.
Yeah. And God bestoweth the angels the nipple. It's the classic line.
Classic line.
Well, okay, thank you for that laugh and imagery. Any other quick 1 second thought, or?
I mean, I liked your idea with the gladiator game. I think that could be another one you need to write down.
Yeah, maybe I'll think about some type of weird other mini game we can do, but that's a fun kind of concept for sure. Cool.
Cool.
Oh well.
Thanks for calling in.
Thanks
Great
for
seeing
having me.
Well, we reached the end of our notes again. Once again, we
Had to happen sometime.
Had to happen sometime. Great episode, Christian. Great job writing the notes. I really enjoyed it. I
I
think.
will never do this job again.
Okay. Compliment for you. I will never do again. You're back to being the worst. Hey, if you like Lorehammer and you like listening to some people talk about Lorehammer lore, go listen to Lorehammer, listen to lore. Almost 200 short stories out there. Me and Gerald ramble off on there every now and again. And I think for the Warlords of Terra, we're almost done the first tier of the tournament, and then the second tier jumps to Lorehammer Listen lore, so we'll be reading out the lore on there, and then the final tier, whoever wins out, comes to Lorehammer Main. So we're still a ways from that, but come check out Lorehammer Listen lore. We will be doing the Warlords on there pretty soon. When you guys want to shout out your show?
Sorry?
Oh yeah, come check out the Star Lords podcast. Just search Star Lords and you'll find us on Google.
What's like?
Preferably on Google, but if you use DuckDuckGo or whatever else, so
Yahoo.
yeah. If you're still using
I
America
actually don't know
Online,
about those websites, but yeah, come check out the Star Wars podcast. We talk about Star Wars. We specifically engage with the former expanded universe material prior to the Disney acquisition, and we kind of explore that lore in that. So if you're interested in that and you're kind of tired of all this acolyte garbage,
How dare you? I love that show.
that's what
Acolyte almost reminds me of like a really bad take on 40K. Like, just like trying to be grim dark, but just like
Failing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyways, I digress.
One thing I like about Star Lords though is you do a bunch of like sound effects and it's like immersive like that. It's way more narrative and like I'd say produced, and that's a cool effect. You guys put some time and effort into it. I like it. You guys are almost at like 100 episodes too, or something.
Almost, yeah, three or four weeks.
If you include all our bonus episodes, we're
Yeah.
well over 100.
100 is a
yeah.
special episode.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
The numbered
congrats, that's a lot.
episodes, yeah.
Do you have like 100 episode? Like, do you know what you're doing, or is it going to be like a recap one? Or are you
No.
saving like?
It's on paper somewhere. I can't
We're
remember
working
what
on
it
it.
is,
We're
yeah.
thinking of something special.
We want to do something special.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
James complaints at gmail.com.
Do you have one of these pulled up for
I
us?
have one. I'm ready to
Okay.
go.
Perfect.
I always got one.
What did we
This-
do wrong this week?
This is intense. I appreciate the like my wife made a lot of fun of you when she read like the first line of this one. So, but I appreciate you. I'm loving. I am generous.
Okay.
My wife laughed at you though, but I love it. Okay, here we go. From the desk of Inquisitor Tomac Hinkelstein, Ordo Hereticus. 2. The heretic James, unworthy of the Emperor's life. Subject: Final edict of purification and absolution. All right, let's jump into this. By the authority vested in me as a servant of the most holy God Emperor, whose divine will guides the imperium of mankind, I address you for the last time. For too long, your blasphemous broadcasts have been tolerated, their seditious content dismissed as the ravings of a madman beneath notice. But your latest transgressions have crossed a threshold beyond which mercy is but a forgotten concept. You, in your unfathomable arrogance, have dared to utter the most vile heresy, asserting that our beloved emperor, the master of mankind, is nothing other than an archfiend, as you call it, the devil himself.
No, James.
Such a profanation cannot go unanswered. As you read this missive, the purging flames of the Ordo Hereticus descend upon your accursed world. A purification squad, armed with the sacred flame of righteousness, has been dispatched to cleanse your stain from existence of the Emperor's realm. You will find no solace, no escape from the burning agony that awaits. The only chance of redemption lies in your silence as the cleansing flames consume your flesh, and only through this suffering may your soul hope to glimpse the Emperor's radiant countenance in the afterlife. Fail to atone, and your eternal torment shall be assured. Further abominations have been discovered in your foul practices, as the Ordo Xenos reports your depraved indulgence in the filth of Xenos debauchery.
Oh,
Such degeneracy cannot be permitted to fester. Another team, trained in the most excruciating arts of penance, is en route to exercise their corrupted
That is
reproductive
doable.
organs, purifying you through the sacred flame of the Emperor's wrath. Let this be a lesson to all who would consort with the enemies of humanity. Your agony shall be a testament to his love, for even in your punishment, the Emperor shows his compassion, granting you the opportunity to be cleansed in holy fire. Though your heresy is immense, even you have managed to produce content not wholly contemptible. However, heed these final decrees.
that's a positive review. All of a
I know,
sudden. Not
we
wholly
ended on a po-
contemptible.
5 stars.
However, heed these final decrees. The tales of Mark shitting in his pants shall be reinstated, for they bring birth to the faithful. As for Christian, he is reviled, purge him from your ranks, lest you further incur our wrath. Remember well these words, for the brief moments of life that remain to you are numbered. In the Emperor's name, Inquisitor Tomahawk Hinkelstein, Order Hereticus, servant of his Divine Majesty. I want to thank you. That was brilliant.
Woo! Listen, I'm listening. I'm listening to you guys' feedback. Believe me, I've been working on the podcast. I gave Jordan another whirl out of the basement. How do we feel? You know, some people get locked up for decades and others make it back out. So
It's got to count for something for the Emperor.
it's gotta count for something.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
possibly my favorite James Complaints. So, James Complaints at gmail.com. Over 500 characters, or I don't read it. That's a lie. I read the-
I personally want to see some pictures in the next James
No,
Complaints.
not
Yeah,
yet.
I want to see some
No.
picture complaints. I don't know what that looks like, but
No.
surprise me.
You are
Don't
getting
do that to
me.
Don't do that to me.
Cool. Well, let's just read off the final Patreon members. If you like the show and want to support us, go hit that up. Every dollar really helps. Like we said, we wanna do more Lorehammer, but in order to do that, we need monetary monies to free up these boys' times. So donate $1, and here's some people that have taken on the cause of Lorehammer. For some unknown reason. Andrew Dillon, Marshall McCurdy, Lloyd.
Marshall McCurdy.
Marshall McCurdy.
McCurdy. Lloyd, the farmer. That's nice. Malik, Brendan Fraser.
We have Brendan Fraser. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's Brendan.
He should be giving a lot more than $1.
Yeah.
He just won an Oscar.
And Samuel. Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, seriously, go toss us a buck. Like, I hate saying numbers and I hate saying stuff, but if everyone gave $1, man, that would be crazy. So there's your challenge for the week. Until then, the Emperor protects. Don't get caught by a homunculus guy. Don't hang out with Christian alone. These are both rules.
He will Vect you.
He will Vect you. These are both rules to follow for life. And Jordan, thanks for having us. Thanks for joining us. It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to be back.
All right, see you guys.
Adios.
Peace.